Duality is key. Understanding both sides is key. It allows you to be aware of the truth in this situation. So with that being said, I hate and love America because of capitalism. I love it because in capitalism, you could become rich selling any goods or service if there is a demand for it. And I hate it because in capitalism, you can become rich selling any goods or service if there is a demand for it. If that doesn't make sense to you, then continue watching, because in this video, I'll take a look at capitalism in order to explain how it led America to becoming the greatest country in the world in the worst way possible. To start off, let's understand what capitalism is. Capitalism is an economic system that allows for and encourages the private ownership of businesses that operate to generate profit. Also known as the market system, capitalism is characterized by private land ownership rights, competitive markets, the stable rule of law, freely operating capital markets, low corruption, and supply and demand. Additionally, free market competition governs the production, pricing, and allocation of goods. In other words, you are allowed to sell anything to make money if it's within the law. What controls everything is how many people desire that something and how many of that something is available. It's simple to understand, but it gets dicey from here. Because in capitalism, everything that can be sold have been sold, and the need for profit has led to immoral actions. In essence, capitalism has no room for compassion, and money is the root of all evil. And one of those evil is slavery. Slavery existed way before America was established. But under American capitalism, it became a whole new monster due to whites being allowed and encouraged to treat black slaves as property and not human. Furthermore, slave owners used the free labor that slaves provided to compete with their competitors, to keep up with demand for their goods, and to generate huge profit. This system was so profitable to the point that slavery became the engine that drove the cotton economy, which enriched everyone from slave owners, banks, shopkeepers, accountants, and insurers. Meanwhile, slaves lost out on an estimated $20.3 trillion in wages for their labor. So yeah, the brutal institution of slavery, its violence, and forced labor was America's first big business that led to its economic growth in the years leading up to the Civil War. Speaking of the Civil War, it falls in line with all this capitalism talk because a shift in the market caused this war. Let me explain. The process of industrialization initiated a market shift in the United States. Rapid growth of the railroad across the nation, with increasing surpluses provided by mechanized agriculture, provided a base for the development of industry and the rise of cities and the mass urban labor force. As a result, the North gained a new labor force and wanted to spread it and not black people in slavery across the new states, while the South wanted to keep the old labor system of slavery and spread it to the new states. Ultimately, the difference in opinion on how the country should move forward led to the American Civil War, where the North won and slavery was abolished. So, in the end, the desire for profit under the capitalistic economic system caused and ended the brutal institution of American slavery. In this instance, it could be said capitalism is neutral, but the black lives and money lost and the continued racial inequalities of black Americans today has put capitalism in a negative light. It's easy for me to say, I hate American capitalism from looking at history because it took away so much from black people in order to make this country a world superpower. But looking at my life as an immigrant and knowing where I came from and where I want to be, I have to say I love America and capitalism. This country has given me many opportunities that I wouldn't have anywhere else. And I'm encouraged and allowed to operate any business to generate profit. But at the same time, I can't ignore the messed up things with American capitalism. In this system, people profit off death, pain, and sorrow. Funeral homes need people to die to operate. Doctors are paid to keep patients on drugs. Private prisons are paid to keep people in the prison system. businesses are encouraged to cut wages to make more profit. And there are companies that want us to go into World War III so that they can make a huge profit. This is all messed up, and it's hard for me to pick a side because I have a different answer depending on the scale I'm looking at. So, my conclusion is we just have to deal with American capitalism because it's the best economic system that we have. And we all stand to make a profit and become rich through this system.